Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Filming from a very different location today. We have a couple of the motorcycles behind me. This is my R1 and then I have the R7 peeking behind, if you can see a little bit, the pink fairings. I have the matching exhaust. I get asked all of the time what beginner motorcycle I would recommend. And I feel like I always answer in comments, but I never have filmed an actual video about it. So this video is going to be my motorcycle evolution. I did ride dirt bikes growing up, but that is just not at all the same. I feel like you're better equipped to ride motorcycles if you had started on a dirt bike, but it just does not translate. I would ride my dirt bikes on the actual street, but again, dealing with other cars and traffic, and there's just so many situations that get thrown at you so fast. It's good to have those basic skills, but I would not say that you're ready like for a 1000 because you had dirt bikes growing up. I was super lucky, and a friend of mine had a Ninja 400. She let me learn on her motorcycle, which thank you so much, very appreciative. I look at that now, like I totally could have crashed her bike, and she trusts me with that. So that's crazy. I don't know if I would let somebody learn on one of my bikes now. I would ride her bike in neighborhoods. I learned how to shift, start, stop. And I was pretty much hooked after that. I went and I bought a used Ninja 650 from a dealership nearby. The first thing I did was put a crash cage on it. I was super paranoid that I was going to drop that bike. And the last thing that I wanted was all the scrapes and everybody to know that I was a new rider. The Ninja 650 is definitely more upright seating position than the 400. Looking back, I do actually wish I had gotten a 400. Actually, I wish I had gotten an R7, but we will circle back to that. When I got the 650, I was still way too scared to ride it on the road. I would have a friend ride it to a nearby neighborhood. I would drive my car, meet them, and then I would ride around the neighborhood for hours. Again, practicing, shifting, starting, stopping. I wanted to be able to go like a full loop and not stall before I even thought about going out on the road. Unfortunately, even with that, I still did stall on the road multiple times when I first started. Luckily, I was usually always with other people who were more experienced, and they helped me to remain calm and divert traffic when I did stall. It's definitely important for new riders to have a plan in place, stay calm, and know exactly what to do in that situation instead of panicking. It was at least a solid month of practicing before I ever took that bike out on the road. And I honestly feel like I was still far from ready, but you just have to be in those situations to learn and grow as a rider. I liked that 650 a lot. It was very special to me. My first motorcycle, I put a exhaust on it, sounded nice. I had like underglow so people could see me better, but I did upgrade pretty quickly after that. If I can remember correctly, I put like 3,500 miles on that bike in just a few months. I feel like I was riding all the time. And come December, I went to a dealership just looking around, and I got it in my head to buy a Kawasaki ZX6R. The 24 models were coming out, and they had one in black, literally one, I think, and I wanted it. I rationalized it by thinking like somebody else is gonna buy it. You have no idea when they're gonna get another one. This is the Kawasaki dealership local to you. And honestly, I didn't even plan on riding it right away. I kind of just wanted it because that was the bike I wanted to upgrade to, and I wanted to have it available to me. I feel like it's really hard to get brand new bikes unless you are on top of it and you get it right when they come in. Maybe that's just my experience. It might be easier depending on the bike, but I feel like when I've looked for certain bikes, I've never really had good luck. So whatever, I rationalized this rash decision. I bought it and I fully planned on it just sitting in my garage until I was ready, probably many months from then, like middle of the next season. It was winter and I live in Ohio, so I was not really riding. I do try to ride at least once every month, depending on the weather. I think the only month that I didn't ride that year was January. I'm sure you can take a wild guess. As soon as I rode that bike home, yes, I rode it home in December. I was so scared, unbelievably scared. I was like on the phone, sitting on this bike, like, oh my gosh, because the 650, you're sitting so upright, the handlebars are up, the 636 is so far lean, the handlebars are so far down. I felt totally out of place. My legs were really far up. I just did not feel cool, comfortable on that bike, and I had no other option but to ride it home. Luckily, it was only like a 10-minute ride. I made it, and I was laughing so hard the whole time. I had it in low power mode, and I still had an absolute blast. I do not believe I ever rode my 650 again after I got the 636. I discovered that I really preferred the sportier seating style, even though it felt uncomfortable to me at first. It just flowed better, and I felt like I became much more skilled of a rider in that seating position rather than the upright. I don't know how to explain it. I know it's much more uncomfortable, but just to me, everything felt easier and smoother. Again, this is why I got at the wishing I got a 400 or an R7 specifically, because they have a more sportier seating position, and I probably would not have upgraded to a ZX6R so quickly had I not had like a cruiser upright seated motorcycle and I had gotten something like an R7, which I can't know for sure, but I definitely would have had that bike and enjoyed that bike for a long time without feeling the need to upgrade. I do recommend to people an R3 over an R7 if it's your first motorcycle. I feel like an R3 is much more manageable from the jump. And yes, you might want to upgrade pretty soon, but if you're buying a used bike, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not like you're going to be dumping money. Okay, my camera started to overheat, so we took a little bit of a break, but we are back. As I was saying, the R3 and the R7 though, if you're buying a used bike, you're not going to be losing a lot of money on it. I would rather see somebody start on something that's more manageable for them, cost less, and they can upgrade when they feel that they're ready. And honestly, you don't even ever have to upgrade. I mean, I know people that have had R7s for years and don't plan on ever getting anything bigger than that. Now that I own an R7, I know how they feel, especially if you've never rode like a much bigger bike. I feel like it's just very manageable and a good everyday motorcycle. Once I got my ZX6R, I like modded the heck out of that thing. I added a bunch of carbon pieces. I painted the wheels. I made decals to match the painted wheels. I do get asked quite often if they are powder coated. No, I took the wheels off and spray painted them with like bare spray paint that I got from Home Depot. They have not chipped at all. I did sand the wheels first. I posted a whole video online, which I can link in description if anyone is interested. But I probably put 4,000 miles on those spray painted wheels, and they have held up perfectly. I think the fact that it's so customized is another reason why I've been holding out on ever getting rid of that bike. I really want to keep it. And I'm just now realizing, I don't think I mentioned why it's not behind me right now. If you haven't heard, there is a ZX6R recall on the like 23, 24, and 25 models, I'm pretty sure. There was an issue with the crankshaft bearing in fifth gear. Don't quote me on this. As far as I know, all of them were affected. I did put my VIN in and it confirmed, yes, I did qualify for the recall. So I dropped it off at the dealership I bought it from and they are servicing it for free. I was told I probably wouldn't get it back for a month. I dropped it off, I think, a week ago now. I wish I had the ZX6R here with me right now to show you guys. I'll have to include it in my next video. Hopefully I get it back soon. I really do love that bike, but my biggest complaint with it is the really high insurance. ZX6Rs are some of the most popular motorcycles in America, and with that, one of the most expensive to insure. I was told by my insurance agent that a lot of people buy them and crash them within the first month or two of ownership. With a totally clean record, my motorcycle endorsement, multiple vehicle discount, I still pay over $250 a month to insure that bike. I've heard of people paying way more than that, even for their ZX6Rs, and I have not heard very many people paying less than that. I feel like insurance prices on motorcycles should just not be as high as they are. I get it that more people crash and total them out more so than like cars, but I don't know. I have a Supra and the insurance on that, a much more expensive vehicle, costs less a month than the ZX6R. Like one small fender bender would be way more money in damage. I don't know. I just don't really think it's fair because in a few years, if you have stupid, expensive insurance, you could be paying more to your insurance company than what you bought the bike for. And I will never, ever recommend somebody to not have insurance or to keep it in storage and continue to ride it. Please, guys, do not do that. You will get into so much more trouble if anything happens and you don't have insurance. But this is another important thing that you should think about if you're getting your first bike. Definitely get quoted on insurance before you buy it. If money is an issue, especially if you're making payments on the bike, you don't want to come to find out that the insurance costs more than what your monthly payment would be. So now I bet you are wondering, how did she end up with an R1? She obviously got rid of the 650 and had a ZX6R that she loved. You would be quite right. Now, I did get the R7 before the R1. So I'm going to talk about that first. I actually still had my 650 for a long time. I didn't really know what to do with it. I didn't feel like selling it on Facebook Marketplace just because I didn't want to deal with people on Facebook Marketplace. So I held on to it for a while and I ended up totally like rash decision. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get an R7 for the track. I think it was like 2 days later, I traded in my 650 for the R7. I ended up getting a pretty good deal on it. I was planning on getting a used one, but the dealership I went to was charging basically the same price for brand new versus like 4,000 miles used. So I just went with the new one and I still have not done a track day. I got that bike in like September of last year. She even has like custom fairings on her that match my suit. But yeah, you guys need to bully me to make sure I go to the track. I have a few days next month picked out that I have no reason not to go. So yeah, that bike was definitely not an upgrade from the 636. If you don't know much about motorcycles, like the CC doesn't exactly equal like this is faster than that. The R7 is a 2-cylinder, so even though it has higher CCs than the ZX6R, it is slower than it, like quite a bit slower than it. But it is still a lot of fun. I feel like that bike is just so easy to like throw around. And I get compliments from other people on it as well. They say the same thing. And then like they even want one. People with leader bikes like my R7 and consider for at least a second getting one themselves. So again, I do really wish that instead of my 650, I had just got an R7. That bike wasn't even on my radar at all. And I don't know why. I feel like they look so much better. Really similar price, if I'm remembering correctly. I wouldn't have wasted the money putting an exhaust on the 650 because I would have still had the R7 unless I was stupid and got rid of it for the 636. But I guess we will never know. But if you guys are starting out, just keep that in mind. If you're between a 650 and an R7, if you want like a sportier seating position and riding style, go R7. Now we will finally get to the beloved R1, how I got her, what I think of her. First off, I absolutely love this bike. I already have, I think, like 2,400 miles on it. It's only been warm here for like 3 months. I feel like I've barely been riding. I really need to get out more, but this has been clearly the bike of choice all season. I really had no intentions of ever getting a leader bike. Seriously, like not even joking. I would tell my friends all the time, why does somebody need that? It's stupid. I don't even ride fast. Well, why would I do that? But I feel like with a leader bike, you're getting so much more than the speed. It's truly like a whole different experience. And I really appreciate all of the electronics of the bike. I love how big this bike is. Like I'm 5'9", 170 pounds. So like on my ZX6R, my knees are bent. Like I feel like that is a small bike for me personally. And my legs are disproportionately long. So yeah, I'm like fully on this though. I am tiptoed. It just really depends like what shoes I have on. If I have no shoes, I would never ride without shoes on. If I have no shoes, then I am completely tiptoed. But with my riding boots, it's like flat foot on one side and tiptoe on the other. I love how smooth the quick shifter is on this. The auto blip is amazing. The fact that I can downshift without the clutch is awesome. Not that using the clutch is hard. I know how to use a clutch, obviously. It's just one of those like added perks of having the nicer bike is all of the extra stuff, the super good front brakes, which were updated for the 2025 models. This bike is loud and it sounds amazing. My exhaust does shoot little flames. I love to see it. When I really think about it, I don't even know why I bought this bike. I thought that Yamaha was going to be discontinuing the R1 after 2025. I do believe that they are making a 26 model for the United States. That's not like completely confirmed, at least I don't know. And with the updates like the winglets and the brakes, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a brand new one in black. I actually tried to get an R1M because I thought, like especially for social media, it would be just such a cool bike to have. But that did not work out, which is fine because I did not need to spend all of the extra money on that. They are ridiculous. So it was basically the same ZX6R situation all over again, where I told myself that the bike was just going to sit in storage until I was ready for it. I rode it and fell in love. It is pretty funny to me, like looking back, all the times I said that I was never going to get a 1000, and here I am with one. And if I could afford it, I would love to have another one even. I feel like my love for bikes has grown immensely over the years, and I just appreciate every aspect of it, not necessarily going as fast as I can on the highway. Like on the R1 specifically, one of my favorite things about it that I don't really get to experience on the other bikes is feeling the power band. When you are accelerating, you know, it feels like it's starting to let off a little bit and then it jumps and you have so much more power all of a sudden. Feeling that on this bike is one of the best feelings ever to me. It is so exciting. But I'm really not one of those riders that just wants to go super fast every time I ride. I'm pretty chill. I prefer a road that has twists and turns in it over straightaways any day. Everybody's progression with motorcycles is very different. This is just my personal experience with it. I have loved all of the bikes that I've owned. I would have to say that the R1 is my favorite, but in no universe would I have ever felt comfortable starting on one of these. I don't regret any bike I've bought. They're all pretty different and I feel like have made me a more well-rounded rider. I'm honestly just excited to continue learning, becoming a more experienced rider, and making memories. Maybe one day you guys will catch me on the track on this thing, but not anytime soon. That is another one of the reasons why I feel like I shouldn't sell my ZX6R, because if I feel like I want more power than the R7 is willing to give me, I don't want to rebuy another 600. I would rather have just kept the one, but you know, I can't predict the future. I don't know. Maybe I won't even enjoy the track, or maybe I'll love it and feel comfortable on this. Probably not. I'll probably be on the R7 for a long time. I also just want to throw it out there. There's probably a decent amount of people that I'm not really friends with that definitely judged me for buying the R1. And I want to emphasize that just because I've been riding for 3 seasons, that doesn't mean like everybody's 3 seasons are the same. Like when I bought my 21 650, the bike had 3,000 miles on it. And I could not believe, I mean, I put 3,000 miles on that thing within a few months, and that guy had had it for years. Everybody rides differently, and even like just straight up miles don't even conclude to experience, because you could have put, 100 miles on, but you're just doing a straight on the highway. Did that make you any better of a rider? No, probably not. My point with this really is, you know yourself. You know what you feel comfortable with, what you don't feel comfortable with, what you are really good at, what you're not very good at, what you need to learn, what you straight up don't know how to do, and stuff that you could do in your sleep. Nobody else does. They might think that they do, but they do not. So while there's plenty of people that probably said, oh, she can't handle an R1, she doesn't know what she's doing, I've been fine, honestly. And I think it's pretty silly to sit here and make these judgments on other people. Like, just focus on yourself, really. It's not hard. I try to incorporate that into my everyday, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, everybody's so mean. Like, I honestly haven't had anybody say anything rude to me or mean or anything. I'm just like taking a wild guess here because I put myself out there on social media. That does open yourself up to judgments. Frankly, I do not care. I am super thrilled. I love my bike so much, and I feel so incredibly grateful that I can own 3 at one time at this point in my life. Social media has been a true blessing, and not only has it introduced me to so many people, but it gives me experiences like this. Without it, I could have never afforded this stuff, and I probably would not have gotten back into the hobby. So people like you watching my videos, thank you so much for helping me literally fulfill my dreams. You guys make my day every day. And I don't know, I just wish I could say thank you in a better way of just saying it. Yeah, all the reoccurring people I see commenting on my videos, like subscribers, everything means something. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was informative. I feel like this was just a total yap session, and I don't know if I got anything, any of my points really across, but I'm just here to hang out with you, really, and I feel like this was a good talk. Any questions, or if there's something you want to see from me in the future, leave a comment. I will try to read all of them and respond, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.